Press the button. Press the red button. There we go. Okay, and how would you like to be introduced?
What do we normally say? Cancer, Emily, White, got pinkish, too many words.
No, I can do that.
You got that?
Yeah. Cantor Emily, why good? Why good?
Like, I really should have kept it because it's perfect.
Well,
And it's pronounced exactly like that.
why good? Why good? It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when you see things to make sure you're doing it correct.
Right.
I had one name on the Mr. Derek. I don't know. I'm just gonna blow it. Life is too short. If you know what I mean.
No, what do you mean?
It's not worth it.
Now the pressure's on.
What?
Now the pressure's on.
Right. The long and rapid ways. And we have to remember to listen to the mic and make sure that and talk slowly and so you could hear that it's
Whenever you're ready.
Feel free to sing any and everything.
Okay. Linda says I shouldn't.
so what?
She said, feel free to say anything.
Just sing anything?
And I said, you said I shouldn't. And she said, what does Linda know?
We are on page 142 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome everyone to the Reformed Temple of Forest Hills. My name is Monty Silberger, and along with my wife Linda Freitag and the cantor Emily Wygod Pincus, we will be conducting services tonight.
And we want to welcome everybody who's here in the sanctuary, as well as everybody who's streaming with us right now from around the country, to really help celebrate and share Shabbat with us. You know, right now I think we want to all be together as a community and really think about how we can use Shabbat to help move things forward in a calming and more, I don't know, supportive way together. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And we now call up Neil and Jill Manis to join us for lighting the Shabbat candles. And please turn to page 121. We do use the page numbers in the brackets. Page 121.
As
As the Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu al Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We now rise and turn to page 123 for Kiddush.
Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahav ratzon himhilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereishit ki hu yom tefillah v'mikra'ei kodesh zeicher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim.
Please be seated.
Okay, please turn to page 124. Middle of the page, 124 in the brackets, yes. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have come to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and timidity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Okay, now we're going to do Now we are going to do Lecha Dodi. Turn to page 138. We will be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, standing before verse 9. Please rise.
Please remain standing and turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu. Please be seated. We turn to page 149, and we will read together Sorry, I'm losing my page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגן יומם ולילה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Please rise.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Please be seated and turn to page 154 for the Via Hafta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושילנתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאת ידכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We now turn to the middle of page 157, and we'll read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for that day, when the nations will be at one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
אדוני אל יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
We now turn to page 162 for the Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית גדולה. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת, לעשות את השבת
We now all rise for the tefillah. We'll be reading the even pages from 164 through 170.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha Ufi Agid Tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gehula Livnei V'neihem Le'man Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Michayei HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia Morid HaTal Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Michayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishelei Afar Michamocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Meimit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman nata l'hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh V'doshim b'chol yom yhalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh
Together from the middle of the page. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai,
Ha'el HaKadosh.
All right, please.
Please be seated.
Yes, please be seated. All right, turn to page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat.
And we continue with Shalom Rav on page 178.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
We now pause for a few moments of silent meditation in the direction that each of our hearts are leading right now.
So, for a while, we've been doing this tune that is of Ukrainian origin. The text actually made its way to Israel, and the text is used on the High Holy Days, Ki Hinei Chachomer. But we've just been singing it as a nigun, and as a way to kind of keep Ukraine in our hearts in some kind of a way. Just as a show that we know that we are still here for them, for whatever we can do, and for whatever we can do to keep that issue alive in our hearts and minds, and in the hearts and minds of the American people. So I thought I would teach it a little bit, because I feel like sometimes I've been singing and not everybody necessarily catches on. So we'll try a little bit and then sing it all together, see what happens. So it starts like this. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Ya, la, lai, 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 lai. Let's try that. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Ya, la, lai, 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 lai. Wow, that was terrific. So it goes on. Yai, lai, 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 ya, la, lai, lai, lai.
Yai la lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai.
Let's try that.
Yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, lai yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, lai yai lai lai lai.
Then it goes on.
Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Let's try that. Yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai.
That was really great.
Yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, lai yai lai lai lai.
Okay. One's through.
Yai lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai.
That's wonderful.
Yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, lai yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
Beautiful.
That was pretty good. All right, now we're going to begin our Torah, our service for the reading of the Torah. Turn to page 364, and we call up Molly Frender to open the ark.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'devar Adonai Elohim, Baruch Shem Natan
is going to be on page 1056, and that's Numbers 24, starting with verse 2. And just a word about the Torah portion, and I won't give it away, but I will say that something that happens in this Torah portion is that the prophet Bilam is asked to do something, to do something that is evil. And whatever his personal inclinations, every time that he tries to do that, that doesn't happen. And I think we could sort of take this as a cue for ourselves that sometimes no matter how the outside world and other forces are trying to influence us to do something that is against our core, we can take a cue from Bilam and listen to our inner voice and do what is right.
We now call up, Audrey Frankel, and for the Aliyah, Josh and David.
Sorry, that's Fred and David.
Sorry.
My bad.
Sorry. Fred and David.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayisa Vil'am et Einav. Vayar et Yisrael shochen lishvatav. Vatehi alav ruach Elohim. Vayisa mishalo vayomar neum Bil'am beno beor uneum hagever shetum ha'ayin. Neum shomea Imreel asher machazeh Shaddai yechezeh nofel ugelui einayim. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Now turn to page 371 and we for a Misha B'Era prayer.
And we would like to put the following names on our get well list: Elaine Wohl, Jamie Stern, Leah Stern, Joan Lipton, Arlene Green, Sadie Rosenkrantz, Roberta Traeger, Jody Ann Herman, Judith Locascio, Rochelle Weinberg, Don Levy, Larry Bloom, Arnold Gilbert, Barbara Gilbert, Jane Levy, Brenda Levinson, Debbie Ball, Maya Waskow, Jenny Byers, Jenny Davidowitz, Renee Weisbaum, Bill Tendler, Jean Weingartner, Father James Reynolds.
And if you have any other names that you would like to put before us, please do so as I look in your general direction. And if you are at home, put it into the chat.
We continue on page 371. Mishaberach avotenu mekor haberacha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
we now call up Michael and Phyllis Rosenberg to lift and dress the Torah. And Andy, sorry. Andy.
And we're calling Andy Court for the closing of the ark.
All right, yes, sorry.
Okay, but it didn't-
You gonna do it?
You can put this.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, lai, yai, lai, la, lai, lai. Ya, la, lai, la, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai.
And we continue on 374 with Eitz Chaim Hi. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast.
Ya, la, lai, lai, lai,
Please be seated, everyone. All right. Now, to give us some learning and some words of wisdom, we call up Phyllis Rosenberg for Devar Torah.
Shabbat Shalom. This week's Parshat is Balak, from the book of Numbers, which Audrey chanted so beautifully. In Rabbi's Torah study, we covered this Parsha in June 2021. According to Rabbi, we spent 5 weeks discussing this Parsha, but I promise I'll be much briefer tonight. An interesting fact we learned in Torah study, although Balak is not the main character, the Parsha is named for him because his name is the first significant word written in the section. I guess being first, good or bad, gets you remembered. Parshat Balak takes place as the people of Israel are preparing to enter the Promised Land. Is this story one more obstacle to overcome? Or, according to the Women's Commentary Tanakh, is it a contest between the God of Israel and pagan gods? At the end of this Parsha, the men of Israel are tempted by Moab women to worship their pagan gods. And as a result, 24,000 people are punished with a deadly plague. The nation of Moab and the unfaithful Israelites learn firsthand the power of God. But tonight, I'd rather focus on 3 characters in this week's Parsha: Balak, the king of Moab, Balaam, a well-known pagan prophet, and Balaam's donkey. Balak is the king of Moab. He is not a very brave leader. He is fearful of the Israelites who are traveling through his nation. Why is he so fearful? Is he afraid of losing his crown or power? Perhaps he has heard of the powerful God who led the Israelites out of bondage from a mighty nation such as Egypt. Balak demonstrates his cowardice by employing Balaam to curse the Israelites instead of facing their leaders himself. Then there was Balaam, a pagan fortune teller with godlike power to curse and bless. Balak hires Balaam to curse the Israelites, but God has commanded Balaam to bless them. Balaam tries to curse the Israelites but fails. He returns to Balak and demands higher payments three more times, even though he was unsuccessful at doing what Balak paid him to do. Rabbi Abba ben Kahana describes Balaam as the vilest of sinners, and other rabbinic interpreters call him a money changer because he is willing to trade his godlike gift of curses and blessings for riches. What is in a man's character or lack of character to act against his conscience for a price? The third character in this parsha is Balaam's donkey. Balaam's donkey is a jenny, a female donkey. In the women's commentary, it is suggested that the donkey is reminiscent of the biblical personification of Chachma, wisdom. In my opinion, the little donkey is the heroine of this parsha. Determined to successfully complete Balak's commands, Balaam rides to the Israelite camp on his donkey. On the way, the donkey stops and refuses to go. She sees an angel carrying a sword, and no matter how much Balaam beats her, she refuses to advance. When Balaam continues to beat her, she sits down in protest. She reminds Balaam that she has been a faithful servant for many years. When she saw the angel, she needed to speak up and remind Balaam that he was supposed to bless the people. Shocked at hearing his donkey speak, Balaam finally sees the angel, who instructs him to bless the Israelites as God has commanded. Balaam realizes that if he had continued to fulfill Balak's orders, he would have been killed. In the end, Balaam stands with a furious Balak on the top of a mountain overlooking the Israelite camp. He curses Balak and blesses Israel with a blessing that we say at the beginning of our Shabbat morning service. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, v'shkinotecha Yisrael. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, Israel. When I volunteered to do this Devar Torah, Rabbi offered me Pashat Balak. I thought it would be an easy task. As I stated earlier, I participated in Torah study and spent 5 weeks analyzing, dissecting, and commenting on Balak. Also, Michael, who has done many Devar Torah through the years, presented Balak in 2000. Thankfully, he saves all his work in easily accessible files. So with all this background information, I dove in. Truthfully, my attention wavered between Balak and the January 6th committee hearings. The more I thought and wrote, I noticed how the events in Balak have been repeated throughout history and repeating again in our nation's capital now. So to recap, a cowardly king who was afraid to lose his kingdom, a pagan fortune teller who is willing to do the king's bidding for money even though he knew it was wrong to do, and a faithful talking donkey who had the courage to stand up to her master, which resulted in a blessing for the Israelites. The characters in tonight's Torah portion are all too familiar to me. There will always be Balaks who abuse power, and Baalams who ignore their oaths of office. And I pray Jennies who have the courage to speak the truth. I am hopeful that the conclusion of the January 6th committee will end in a blessing for our nation and us all. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, thank you, Phyllis, for those words of wisdom and for including the donkey, because that's always been my favorite part of this parsha. Now we're going to reflect on things that happened to us during this week or that are coming up that are good, making us feel happy, simchas. So I'm going to go around the room, raise your hand if you have something to share, something that you'd like to share that made you feel good this week or something coming up. Anyone? Okay. All right. Well, okay. All right. Give us your name and what makes you. What's your?
My name is Ella, and it's my sister's birthday tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Gwen. I got my youngest son back from his first sleepaway camp experience in one piece. And I'm just really both happy to have him back and happy that he achieved that milestone of independence.
And how does he feel about it? Okay. How do you feel about being home from camp?
Start the obvious. I'm Aaron Levinson, and I am confident, or at least I was.
Okay.
Still are. And still are.
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm happy that the Mets took 2 of 3 from the Braves in Atlanta.
Hi, I'm Amy Geffen-Shapiro, and last week we had the fortunate occasion to meet up with our son Andrew and his wife Emily, whom we haven't seen since February. We met them up in Quechee, Vermont.
Thank you.
My name is Ed Brenner. Back on Wednesday, my job had an outing, and I had to go on a scavenger hunt through Manhattan. I mean, it was pretty hot. I mean, we passed by a lot of nice landmarks, including the Brooklyn Bridge, and also by some spots of the World Trade Center and Chinatown. Boy, it was that day was a knockout.
Sounds very nice. Anyone else? All right, well, I have a couple of things then. My son, who for the past few years has been living the life of a single young man with lots of friends, sharing a 5-bedroom apartment with a cast of revolving characters, will be signing a lease this Saturday to move in with his girlfriend. And also, my granddaughter, Eleanor, who you've heard me speak of before, will be moving into her apartment in Stony Brook as she gets ready for graduate school, which will start next month.
And we've neglected to mention, however, that Eleanor just got married.
Well, that was weeks ago.
Still holds.
And now we're going to turn to page 586, the middle of page 586, and please rise for the Aleinu prayer.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtacharim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu,
Please be seated.
So now we come to the time in our service when we think of those who are no longer with us. In this congregation, we are especially thinking of those who passed just this very week. Lester Rivera, father of our member, Carrie Spezza, and of Eric Rivera, husband of Joan Rivera, grandfather of Nicole, John, and Paul, and Carol Soldinger, sister of Joni Lipton. And for Shloshim, Arnold Zappel, father of our member, Leah Zappel. And for yard sites, Robert Burko, Betty Lou Brody, Denise Canner, Jan Sternman Carr, Ida Cohen, Louis Cohen, Jerome Court, Bill Collins, Herbert Epstein, Charlotte Fendig, Rita Frender, Gerard N. Gerson, Samuel Gluck, Ida Goldstein, Harvey Gordon, Laura Greenwald, Frank Gropper, Laura Grossman, Natalie Hyman, Bertha Kalish, Anna Cash, Irving Cass, Joseph Cates, Stephen Klazowski, Philip Kodak, Rose Levitz, Rosabelle Lobsens, Harry Marks, Bertel Marks, Lillian Ostro, Irving Paley, Caroline Reinheimer, Abraham Riddle, Isaac Rosenbaum, Arthur Rumsky, Janet Rush, Joseph Schlackman, Rona Schneidman, Lawrence Schrager, John Shustek, Julia Schachter, Arthur Artie Solomon, Esther Steinberger, Rebecca Tell, Bernard Truster, Jerome Villa, Dorothy Ward, Gerald Weinroth, Robert Wygod. If there are any other names that anybody would like to share to remember at this time, you can share them with us as my eyes meet yours. We hold these names and others in our hearts as we rise together as one congregation to recite the hallowed words of the Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom, which is on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yamru, amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam hulamei amayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela mimkol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'romav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'yimru Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'romav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'yimeru Amen.
Please be seated. We now call up Seth Diamond for announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Monty and Linda, for leading the service along with Cantor so beautifully, and for Joe, Bonnie, and Mark for all the wonderful music this evening. And thank you, Phyllis, for a lovely and relevant Devar Torah. And thank you to Cantor and Drew Pincus for sponsoring tonight's ONEC. It's never too early to plan ahead for the high holidays, and a great way to do that is by purchasing Shana Tova honey, and it is on sale now, and details about how to do that you can find in the e-blast. And remember that all some of the proceeds go to support our Women's Connection. You also have about 10 days left to finish your reading of Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, if you want to be ready for our Across the Street Book Club on July 26th. So one assignment you can do this weekend when you're at the beach or relaxing, if you need a few pages to catch up on. Phyllis gave a wonderful Devar Torah, but I wanted to share a little bit of another one that I read this week from an unlikely source, which was the President of the United States. Those of you, probably all of us, know that he was in Israel this week. And at one point, when he received the Israeli Medal of Honor, he went on to note that this week's Torah portion was Balak. And he started by saying that this was the Torah portion that was going to be read in the United States this week. And you may think that that was just a standard line from the president, but actually, because of a quirk in the Jewish calendar, there are some times of the year when different Torah portions are read in Israel than are read in the United States, and this is one of them. And so Balak is not read in Israel this week, but it's read in the United States. And so a lot of people gave him a lot of credit for knowing that. Whether he knew that himself or somebody told him, I'll leave it to you to decipher. But his message, I thought, had some power, so let me share that with you. And he said that Balak tells the story of a prophet who described the ancient Israelis as the people that dwell alone. But as I look out over these proud, strong Israelis in the audience, at the nation that they have made in the desert and made the desert bloom and built the Iron Dome, I see people who are growing more secure, more integrated, and more confident. People who have greater relations with their neighbors, a nation that has forged peace and can do it again, and a nation that will never dwell alone. Because as long as we're the United States, you will never, ever be alone. Let us always have a president who can go to Israel and say those words so proudly. Shabbat Shalom.
And now we're going to turn to the Motzi, and I'm going to surprise Monty by saying those of you who are Mets fans should join him for the Motzi. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as a joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Te'avon.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. Bon appetit. And we conclude with Hine Matov.
Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleikum. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleikum. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleikum. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleikum. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please, as you leave, bring your books to the table outside and join us in the back for the oneg.